I want to talk about my experience with GSLC Inspire 3.0. It's been fantastic. Actually, Pankaj ji has been inviting me for quite some time, but I've not managed to come. This time I said I'm going to definitely come.
Yes.
It's really great because there is such a great atmosphere of learning. Like, I'll give you an example, is that when I came and I sat at a table with all the teachers and principals, so much learning happens just like that.
Yes.
So, when we're interacting with people, we're talking with people, and what's the difference is that after a conference like this, you go back home with such great motivation. Sometimes you already know what's being said,
Yes.
but that doesn't matter, it's kind of reinforced, and it's such a fabulous, I'm so happy to have come. And like I was telling Pankaj, I'm going to come every year. It's so good. It's great learning.
Absolutely.
Because, it motivates you, it kind of supports your learning. It says, nahi jo aap kar rahe, sahi hai. It's a mixture of a lot of things. Like, for example, this panel just before that, she very strictly talked about, no, we need this, we need this, we need this. When you're planning a trip next time, you kind of keep that in mind.
Right.
And another person talked so much about drama, and I was so happy to hear that because that's what I do. I think it's beautiful learning and I love the atmosphere.
Absolutely. I believe a platform where we get all these thought leaders together, where a lot of sharing, networking, learning new ideas
so
happen.
Nice. Yes, it's
Absolutely.
great.
And I'm sure, like you, many educators are taking back a lot of learnings with them through this conference.
Yes.
Thank you for your response, ma'am. We'll take back to the next question. What are your thoughts on the 10 days bagless policy that we see in NEP?
It's a very interesting policy. So I want to tell you that I actually did it in July in Gujarat last year. We did a 10-day bagless school, as I call it.
Yeah.
The only difference is that we did it all together.
Right.
So it's not necessary to do all together. You can do it separately. You can do it over the year. You can do 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. I met one fantastic leader over here. He says, I'm not going to make it 10 days. I'm going to make it 25 days in the year.
Wow. Okay.
So that's great. And so that's why I've written this book.
Okay.
Which is Play, Practice and Pursue. So it's about the fun.
Right.
And it's about, practicing. And it's about thinking.
Yes.
And it's about your vocation as a practice.
Right.
And pursuing is like, following it up and continuing it. For example, we have this beautiful country, India,
Yes.
which has got over 2,500 arts and crafts,
Yes.
which should be learned at a very young age, because otherwise you cannot love it,
Correct. Correct.
right? Sometimes you do, but not generally. So, this is what the whole thing is. If we expose our children to all the different things.
Right.
So I remember in the school, my children's school days, I used to not jam-pack their curriculum, like this class, that class, this. I used to let them get bored.
Okay.
And because they got bored, they used to sit and make plays. They'd catch all their building friends.
Okay.
And they would make plays in the summer holiday. And then after the plays are made, they would invite all the uncles and aunties to come and see it.
Right.
Or हम mummies जो actors के mummies होते थे, directors के mummy होते थे. We had to make popcorn and nimbu pani and all that.
Right.
So they learned theatre from that.
Okay.
So my sons both are now actors and assistant directors and writers, and they've done their masters in theatre arts.
Correct.
And my younger one's done his masters in screenplay writing.
Right.
So it's not that you're not getting educated, but I remember this fantastic director called Spielberg,
All right.
whose father had given him a small camera when he was small.
All right.
And he's the world's best director.
Okay.
So, you get introduced to things like that. Like I
Yes.
learned stitching in my summer holidays.
Okay.
And then, I would make, skirts and dresses and, things like that.
Correct.
So it all just adds up to you.
Right.
when we talk of the SDG 2030,
Right.
which is talking about culture, which is a very important thing. Now that will come through
Yes.
this.
Right.
You know, heritage visits. We just talked about learning outside the classroom,
Yes.
but we talked about heritage learning. And in my book,
Right.
I've talked about a heritage visit to Modhera Sun Temple,
Okay.
where my students not only visited the temple, we took clay for them and they made artwork there.
Right.
But that's a given, right? Art. But you know, my students learn fractal geometry there.
Okay.
Because in the Kund,
Right.
they're made with fractal geometry in mind, you know, the repetition of shapes.
Correct.
So there is so much learning that happens in this 10-day Bagless thing.
Correct.
So that's what my book is about, and I've written about it because I want to share this with teachers
Yes.
and school leaders.
Correct.
That this 10-day Bagless school is a beautiful concept.
Right.
So we visited higher institutions, like
Correct.
we visited Rashtriya Raksha University.
Yes.
And village children saw this beautiful university. And you know, now everyone wants to go there.
Okay. Okay.
Because agar dekha nahi, to who wants to go? But now
Correct.
they have to aspire.
Right.
So I took them to the Department of Forensic, Criminal Forensic.
Okay. All right.
And they saw how, you know, they have microscopes,
Okay.
which, you know, examine two bullets simultaneously,
Okay.
and, you know, things like that.
Yes.
And it was so, you know, they inspire. So that's what this is about, the Bagless School. And
Great.
this is what my book is about.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your pearls of wisdom, and a quick message to all the educators there. This is a book that you all must have because it talks about the 10-day Bagless procedure, the concept, which is a beautiful concept. It lets students have hands-on learning into their day-to-day life. It's like, you know, learning happens every day. Each and every activity
I know,
that
and you know,
do.
sometimes we just get
Yes.
bogged down with books.
Absolutely.
So book hai hi nahi, so now we have to, like I told you, I
Yeah.
have to let my children get bored. And getting bored is one of the best things which inspires creativity.
Then the innovation starts.
Yeah, that's how innovation starts.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time, Dr.
My
Sampat.
pleasure.
It was a
Thank
lovely
you.
meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.